7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to make sure we're live before I tell you we're live, because I'm not sure we're live. I'm just going to make sure everything's good to go. I am Micah McCurry. You're listening, maybe watching, Micah McCurry Live number 19. And it appears it's working here. Joe, I believe we have the audio is good. Fantastic. All right, just want to make sure. Good. I'm here with Joe Kutinsky.
I'm sorry, if you don't mind, I just need to go use the restroom.
You have impeccable timing, sir.
Yes.
You are just a gem, an officer and a gentleman. Thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate
it. No problem, man.
It's,
I'm excited for it.
It's interesting. It's the first, I was thinking back, this is the first in-person interview that we've done for Micah McCurry Live. I've interviewed people before in person, but not on the program, and so this is going to be fun. We've been sitting here for 30 minutes, maybe a little longer than that.
I don't think people truly appreciate the effort that goes into this before the countdown begins.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, everyone, that countdown that some people detest. I'm looking at you, my brother-in-law, Austin Marriott. He doesn't like the countdown.
He and I are not on the same side. I approve of the countdown.
He approved. Joe.
It's hashtag Joe approved. TM.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. So at least we have one true fan of the countdown. So that's
buddy.
good. So here's the deal.
Okay.
We are sitting at for those that are listening and watching, what is going on? Because we are not in my basement right now. We are not, Joe's not coming to us from his living room, from his study, from wherever. Maybe he does study here, but we are at the Tip Top restaurant. I have never been to the Tip Top restaurant, so I'm going to give you a real review, though I will be a slightly bit biased because they are allowing us to do this interview here on their premises, and I appreciate that. And so, yeah, we're having a good time. We are going to get to some questions and things, but I think at some point here we need to flag down the waitress. Are you allowed to call them waitresses these days?
I just call her Jessica.
Jessica, okay,
Yeah.
all right, that sounds good. Am I allowed to call her Jessica as
Probably.
well? Probably so, okay.
If you're not, she'll let you know.
Okay, sounds good, sounds good. So, those that are watching, thank you. Again, the first in-person interview, it's not in my home, it's not at our church, it's at a restaurant. We're having a good time with it. So, let's, I think we need to look at the menu, if that's okay. Unless you had some questions you want to just jump right into while we wait on the Jessica.
I all but have the menu memorized at this point. So
and it is an extensive menu. It is not like 4 things on it. It is, I don't know if you can see this or not here. There is a lot, it's trifold.
I'm going to tell you,
there's a lot of detail on this
There's
menu.
nothing in here that you're going to go, that's the absolute best fill-in-the-blank I've ever had.
Sure.
But everything is solid.
Okay.
The fried chicken is high on the list of some of the better fried chicken I've had.
Sure.
But there's nothing I've ever eaten here that I've walked out and gone, I don't think I'm ever going to have that again.
Right.
Everything is solid.
Okay. Well, and having that extensive of a menu and still being able to be that solid across the board, because there are some places that are, a mile wide, inch deep, have nothing, going on, but at least they have some depth in what they do, and they do it well. So it reminds me of, was it Mike's Place? Have you ever been there before? Yeah, a lot of options.
That's a deep menu.
Right.
Son of Chucky, by the way.
What's that?
The Son of Chucky, if you've never had it, is absolutely worth it. It's worth like once. Okay. Because it's pricey for what you're getting.
Gotcha.
But what it is
the serving sizes are pretty generous though over at Mike's Place. So we're talking about Akron food places. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'm getting hungry now. Now that we're talking about food, I have to get this off my chest right off the bat. I have always not detested, but always thought very little of Akron as a food destination. Would you I've only lived here for about 5 years. Okay. And so went to college out in Santa Clara, California. Yeah. And so you have the Filipino, Hispanic, everything, Asian, everything you could possibly want. Yeah. Got my master's in the Chicagoland area. Again, melting pot, anything you want. And then I come here. And I feel not let down because I don't know what I was expecting. But am I thinking, am I wrong?
No, so Akron is a meat and potatoes kind of place. Okay. Right?
Okay. Describe it.
It will argue that it is the home of where the hamburger was invented.
Okay, I've heard that. Okay.
Menchie's Brothers says that they invented it. I can't verify that, and frankly, as far as burgers go, they don't top my list.
Okay.
They put coffee in their meat, which is an interesting idea.
Like ground, not the grounds, or like this is just liquid, or
yeah.
or?
No, I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I don't want to besmirch their name by saying that the wrong technique.
Right.
But they put coffee in their burger.
Okay.
Then you have places like Swenson's.
Mm-hmm.
They put brown sugar in their burger.
I like Swenson's.
Yeah, brown sugar, Velveeta cheese. You can't go wrong.
If you know that's Swenson's.
But there's a lot of good burgers around here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So how do we get a hold of Jessica? That's my question.
Next time she goes by, I'm going to do one of these.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So why are we in a restaurant? That might be a question people are asking. So maybe you can fill in the blanks as to why we are in a restaurant right now. Besides, I'm hungry.
Well, A, I'm hungry.
Okay.
B, you're hungry.
Right.
C, I like restaurants for meeting up with people. Right. Anymore, I will almost never invite you to my home. I will always say, hey, if I haven't seen you in a while, or if this is the first time we're meeting face to face for, I'll say, hey, let's find a restaurant. We'll go there. We'll hang out.
Sure.
And the reason I do that is twofold. One, I like food, and I think food is the sort of thing that you can either, be united over or argue over, but it's a good point to start a conversation in one way or another. And two, I want to farm out my hospitality. If I invite you to my home, I'm responsible for refilling your water or whatever beverage you're drinking. I'm going to be cooking the meal. I'm going to be cleaning up the meal.
Right.
And all of those things are going to take my attention away from actually talking to you.
Right. And so when you first started that, I was going to say in D, you could say laziness, but it's not. And you got to it where it's just the ability to actually focus on what's going on.
Right.
And that has been, not to get away, we can get back to that in a second, one of the reasons, like to right now, you're just going to see us on split screen. I'm doing my absolute utmost to not think about the fact that I'm host and producer.
Yeah.
Because least less I can think about that, the more you can concentrate on what's actually happening here. And quick side note, admin, we are only on Micah McCurry Live, the Facebook page, because we're dealing with slightly spotty connection, and so just going to one spot, we'll upload it to other locations later on. But you keep going with the thought about connecting with people.
But, don't be confused. It's laziness.
Okay.
But
D,
I justify the laziness
okay.
by saying, well, I want to focus on the other person. But that's at your convenience, ma'am. Yeah.
So this is Jessica.
This is
She's
Jessica.
not on camera right now, just so you know. It's okay.
Yeah.
But Jessica, thank you for allowing us the opportunity. Got everything set up here. So Joe obviously knows the menu.
Yes.
Just for the people at home, what would you recommend here at Tip Top?
We are well known for our fried chicken.
Okay.
Fried chicken and beer battered cod are the two big ones. We serve breakfast all day. So
Cool.
Madeira's another big one.
Sure. Sure. I don't like places that stop serving breakfast at a certain time.
Right?
Because like Cracker Barrel doesn't. They let you get breakfast all day.
Yeah.
The places that make me, because I don't want breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I want the opposite.
Okay.
I want a restaurant that serves dinner all day.
Okay. Do you
Because
do dinner all day?
Everything all day?
Yeah, see?
Are you 24 hours as well?
No.
Okay.
We close at 9 every day but Sunday. Sundays we close at 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, but everything all day?
I worked night shift for 4 years.
Okay.
And I can tell you that there's nothing better at 6 o'clock in the morning than sweet and sour chicken.
Okay.
Because that's the end of your day and you think it's dinner time.
Sure.
But you cannot find sweet and sour chicken
And
at
it
6
doesn't
o'clock
sit
in the
too
morning.
heavy on your belly. You just go to sleep
Oh, I
at
don't
that
care.
time.
I like food too much to care. Yeah.
I'll take the hit.
Yeah.
So
We serve milkshakes at 6 a.m. when we open.
there you go. There you go. So I have no idea what I want, except for a lemon for the water.
Okay.
Besides that, do you just wait a little bit and we'll order together, or what do you want to do?
I can go whenever.
Yeah, well, we just wait and we'll order later on. In about 5 minutes or so, if that's way. Perfect.
Be right back.
So, my wife reminded me that people probably, well, she said, she's always trying to protect me.
Okay.
And it's a good thing. It's not like a cocoon or like a bubble boy or something.
Yeah. Go team.
Thank you.
Sorry. You're welcome.
But she mentioned, maybe people would rather not watch you eat live. And so part of it is I don't care.
Right.
That's part of it. But I feel it's authentic. I mean, everybody eats.
Everybody eats when you go out. Like, you go out to dinner with somebody. You're going to eat in the course of the conversation.
Right.
As long as we're not chewing into our microphones, I feel like that's okay.
Right. Try not to do that.
Like, nobody wants that.
Right.
But, there's so many shows where, like one of the shows I really enjoy is Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, right? I like the idea that they're out doing things that normal people do, having conversations in the way that normal people have conversations.
Right.
It's completely unnatural to sit down across from somebody and just have a conversation and like act like that's a normal thing.
Right.
Because it's not.
Right.
You're either sitting in your living room with somebody, you're sitting in a restaurant with somebody, you're someplace you're doing something, you know?
And people, they get uptight about, and so rightly so, in this most connected society we've ever had with phones and the ability we texting back and forth and things, that face to face, because there are things and the nuances of how I'm going to talk to you is so different, and I would love to take Micah McCurry live to just in person interviews. Logistics doesn't always allow that, but
your budget would go way up.
That's true. And so I'm gonna need to start like a fundraiser or a Patreon account or something. Very quickly, I'd like to make sure that the sound is reasonable, make sure everything is good. Let's see what the people are saying. And those of you that are tuning in, I appreciate it. Let's see here. Let's see. What does... Okay, my wife says, Brother Joe, I've heard a lot about you. I'm expecting big things from this interview, so please don't disappoint. Let's see here. Shout out to El Faro Burritos. Yes. Okay, let's see here. All right. And I assume the sound seems like it's reasonably good. If anyone's having issue with sound, please let me know. Where were we at? What were we talking about? Oh, we need to look at the menu.
You need to look at the menu.
Yes,
I have the menu.
Okay, so what are you getting?
Okay, so you need to understand that what I'm going to do is probably controversial.
Okay.
I like chicken.
Okay.
One of the things that I do is I get chicken tenders, and I dip them in French dressing, like French Catalina dressing, not straight up French, but like Catalina.
Okay. Catalina French mix, or
no,
it's like a different.
When I ask for the French dressing, it's the dressing they bring me.
Okay.
But if some places you go and you ask for a French dressing, that's not the same. So strictly speaking, this is probably more of a Catalina style French dressing.
I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is your go-to here, or that's what you're doing today?
No, that's my go-to.
Okay. Are you a guy that, with a huge menu like this, and you come here enough, do you have the thing that you get every time, or do you jump around?
It depends on my mood.
Okay.
Typically, when I come in and I sit down, whatever server I get is going to go, okay, French dressing with your chicken tenders, right?
Right.
I'm like, you got it. The burger is fantastic.
Okay.
Again,
Speaking
it's
of,
not.
I should probably be looking down right now.
It's not a life-changing burger.
Okay.
But it's good. The
onions. Oh my.
There's one called the triple bypass, which I have seen in person once.
Okay.
And my understanding is the first person to complete it was a 13-year-old girl, who then tried to order a milkshake, and the mom said, "No,
you're done.
Absolutely not."
You're done. So the triple bypass, to those wondering, this huge burger, that's how they describe it, has 3 half-pound, not quarter-pound, half-pound patties with 9 slices of bacon, 6 slices of American cheese, lettuce, tomato, mayo, ketchup, mustard, onions, and pickles on a Kaiser roll. And for just $13.99, but that's fair for, a pound and a half.
Yeah. I kid you not, the thing's this tall.
Okay.
No exaggeration. It's that tall.
See, well, we'll get into that just saying, because I really got to figure out what I'm eating. So Jessica doesn't get mad at me.
Burger's good. Chicken Parmesan is good. What did my dad and I ordered?
Prime rib. Have you had the prime rib here before?
I have not had the prime rib.
Have a ribeye too. So there's a funny story about prime rib we'll have to get to in just a moment.
Copy that. The chicken BLT. My dad and I ordered the chicken BLT one day.
Okay.
And we're shocked at how large it is.
Chicken breast, grilled or fried.
Yeah.
Triple bypass sounds interesting.
Chicken melt is good. If you're feeling challenging, like the triple bypass.
So
I have grown beyond my desire to eat that much in one sitting.
Sure.
So I just don't do that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
But
so
I certainly wouldn't judge you.
I am.
And I would love to see somebody do it on video.
Infamous, I guess, for people that. Yeah, I guess we are, for posterity's sake. My children know. So I am known. I'm not known for my walk with God. I'm not known for, being a football superstar. I'm known for having an amazing wife.
So these are strong aspects of your life.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yes.
Just nobody knows about them.
They do now.
Right.
Yes.
Toot my own horn. But I'm known for how much I can eat. That is like that's just the thing.
I'm just saying.
So on that note,
Okay.
sometimes when I go out to eat, everyone, especially if I'm going out to a place where I'm not sure what the serving sizes are like, I will have a small snack beforehand, so that because I hate getting up from a table.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with being that guy. It doesn't bother me.
Right.
But other people look down on me being the guy that, are you done with that, guy?
Yeah.
Someone's got to be that guy, because otherwise you throw food out.
You can't let bacon go to waste.
That's true. And there's
And
9
people will
slices.
do that.
9 slices of bacon.
Yeah. No, I feel
So
you.
I think we have to see
feel
how
ya.
big the triple bypass is. The prime rib sounds amazing, but hey, does it come with a side or anything? What do we have?
I think it
Oliver,
comes
they
with a
come with a
side.
half pound of fries.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So on that note,
Yes.
before we came here, so it's 5 o'clock right now.
Yeah.
So normally I would eat a little bit later.
Yeah.
People, oh, that dude, he can eat a lot. I eat a lot once a day,
Sure.
and I graze a little bit the
The
rest of
rest
the
of
day.
it.
I'm not eating, 6 eggs and steak for breakfast, and then triple bypass for lunch, and
Could you imagine the workout you'd have to do? Just
Michael
to
Phelps
maintain
type
that.
thing. I mean,
Yeah.
he like burned Olympic gold medalist for the young kids out there multiple times. But he burned like 12,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
He was swimming like miles and miles
Well,
and
yeah.
miles a day. So, but I'm not that motivated, and so I can only do it once a day while my body keeps up with. I'm just gonna go with that triple bypass, and it'll be, I'm sure, my
If
wife
you
will
don't-
be very happy with how it looks for me to be trying to eat the whole thing on
And
camera.
if you don't finish it, your children will know.
It's true. So on that note,
Okay.
what I was saying, so I had, let's see, what did I have? Not to go through my food history here. I'm trying to think now what I had. I had some fried rice. Thank you to 2 people who made us both very good fried rices. I had some leftovers. Had that for lunch. But that was like 12:30 or so. So we're pushing, like, for me, I either graze a lot or I
Yeah.
eat pretty far apart. If I know, like we went to Olive Garden with my wife last night.
Right.
I purposely, I took her shopping for 2 hours beforehand so that I would make sure I was going to do my justice to their stuffed pastas, all you can eat. I'm not
Right.
going to go to get all you can eat. So anyway, so I had that and some other things. And then right before I came, I was like, I'm going to have, I made the conscious choice to eat a couple, more than a few Oreos with milk before I came.
All right, hang on. I'm going to cut you off right there.
Purpose of
Double
not being-
stuff?
Yes.
You
double
have
stuff.
to go double stuff. That's the
Yes.
golden ratio.
But so the mega
Okay.
are too much. Too much.
I agree.
Okay, so we can be friends.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
So because
I've gotten into legit fights over this, by the way.
so we had 2 packs. This was like a couple months ago. Had 2 packs, and one was mega, one was double. And the glutton in me, which is just who I am, I was like, I gotta go mega, right? Gotta grab these. I wasn't thinking. Grab them, put them in milk, and it was like trying to slog through. It was just too
It's
much.
too much.
So I had double stuff. Pleasantly surprised, because I feel like normal Oreos not quite enough. Interesting factoid though. I think if you do the math, some whiz kid, science fair thing, they're called double stuff, not exactly double.
I don't
It's
care.
like 1.7 or something.
Not even
of-
mad. It's the
but
perfect ratio. Call it
is
whatever you
good.
want. I don't
so
care.
should that just be normal Oreos, and then you have anemic Oreos, or the normal, the original?
Have you seen the thin ones, though?
They have thinner.
They have thin.
Why?
I don't know. The only justification I've found for the thin ones is if you get the mint ones, they taste almost but not quite like Girl Scout Thin Mint cookies.
But why would you do that? Because I don't want Girl Scout Thin Mint cookies because they're to me they're dry. I'm not a big Girl Scout Thin Mint person. When I could have,
We might fight about this.
well, so here's the thing. I love mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Yeah. That we won't fight
I'm
about.
a big texture person,
Okay.
and I feel like I'm keep expecting, like, where's the cream of an Oreo when I'm eating a Thin Mint, because it has a similar
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
So I'm
okay.
missing it. Like the coating on the outside is not quite enough to satiate that.
Let me ask you this: have you tried them frozen?
I don't know if I have.
That's gonna change your life, brother.
Okay. All right.
I have right now, in my house, there is
It's that season. It's
there is
season
a
for Girl
sleeve
Scouts.
of, which, by the way, that's the serving size for Thin Mints. One sleeve. Why they make
How
those
many
boxes?
sleeves are there in a box?
2.
Okay.
And they shouldn't even make those boxes resealable.
right.
That's stupid. But there's one sleeve in the freezer, and the other sleeve is in the box in case my wife decides she doesn't want to have the frozen one. But that's only because that's the only box in the house right now. There are several others waiting for delivery.
Okay.
And once those arrive, there'll be at least 2 full boxes in the freezer until they're gone,
Okay.
which won't take long.
Yeah,
Freeze your Thin Mints. and freeze your Reese cups.
That I've done.
Yeah.
Those peanut butter bars. There's many styles of them, but the kind
Like the
layers of wafer and
Yeah,
not
frozen?
nutter butter. Yeah, those are
Okay.
very good. What else? Really, okay, I'm weird about this, and people in the comments, I'm sure, are so interested in what we freeze and all that stuff.
Right
But,
now they're thinking, why are we listening to this?
Yeah. Well, why?
It'll get
what are
better,
we
I
doing with
promise.
life? Right. Hey, if you're watching, if you wouldn't mind sharing, because this is probably the most interesting conversation going on this week. Really, I mean, there's probably nothing better going on right now. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, freezing things.
Yes.
So, I very much enjoy putting milk on things that otherwise people would not. For instance,
Okay.
Muffins, cupcakes, things like that.
Putting it
like
on
cake
it.
in general. So putting it in a bowl,
Okay.
receptacle for milk, putting milk on it. What are your thoughts?
Well, so essentially what you're doing is you're eating cake with ice cream that's just not frozen anymore,
I like the way you think.
right?
Right.
You're kind of taking a step out of it.
Everyone else looks down on me. It traumatizes me. It hurts me.
I listen.
It bothers me.
I eat weird things. So, and I'm not talking like Andrew Zimmerman weird.
Right.
Like I put hummus on a brownie once.
Okay.
Can I tell you? Don't put hummus on a brownie. Don't do it. It's a terrible idea.
Okay.
I don't
But
like hummus
you
anyway.
tried.
But-
Okay, so you had.
But it was like one of those, let's
it was
try
a
it.
multi-level error in judgment.
You don't know until you try, right?
Right.
That's
So
what I'm saying.
That I've realized you can take too far though. There
Yes,
are some
you can.
things you just shouldn't try
Yeah.
in general. You'll just never know about.
And
So
that's the lesson
okay.
of hummus on a brownie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Know the limits.
But it's always wise to learn from the experience of others. So I know now
Hummus on a
hummus
brownie. Don't do it.
plus brownie equals
No go.
no bueno.
No.
So it's a win.
Muy no bueno. Sí. Sí.
That exhausts the amount of Spanish that I know.
So,
¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo Mika. That's what all the Hispanic. I'm Micah, by the way.
¿Dónde está el baño?
You lost me.
Where's the bathroom?
Okay.
¿Dónde está la policía? In case they're corrupt, you don't want to get.
Police? Did I get police in
Sí.
there? Okay.
Sí. Yeah. And ¿dónde está el agua?
Water.
Because
Okay, I
you
know
need
more
something to
Spanish than
drink.
I think. All
Yeah.
right.
See.
Man, I'm
Now
proud.
here's the problem. I walk around talking Spanish to people at work, and they think I'm fluent. So we had a guest I worked
Four
with Target with.
phrases and you just.
Yeah,
you just,
that's all it is.
Right.
But I say it with such confidence that they're like, oh yeah, Joe K knows Spanish. So we have a guest come in one time. I work for Target, and she wants to buy a camera, and the lady near electronics
See where this is
calls Joe
going.
K because hey, Joe K speaks Spanish all the time.
Right.
They call me over. They're like, hey, she speaks Spanish. She doesn't speak any English. Can you help her out? Can you sell her a camera? And I said, absolutely, no problem. And the person that called me over just left. No big deal. So I look at the lady and I said, me llamo Jose. Un poquito español. Un muy poquito español. And then I got up to Google Translate, and I sold that woman a camera with my
nice.
Google Translate.
Did you get commission? Like
No.
with a special
No, we don't do-
edition for Spanish speaking? No. Okay.
No, we don't get commission. We're
Same.
just there for the guest. Yeah.
We're gonna cut that part out. Send it to Target Corporate. They're gonna love you for that. I think that's,
They already
that's
love
a
me.
good.
Yeah,
Good.
it's
good.
fine. Yeah.
That's fun. This is a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun. I
Well,
don't
that's the
know-
goal.
Yeah. I feel like take the cameras away, we'd still be having a good time.
Yeah.
If
I mean,
you
this is the
wa- if
first
you-
time I've ever done this with cameras. But just so you realize, this is
This is you.
meals
This is
with
you
Joe
all the
K.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been known to show up a place for lunch. We eat lunch, call the menus back over. We have dinner, or breakfast into
Because
lunch.
you're just there.
Because
long
we're
enough.
just there. Yeah.
So
I've got a
question.
handful of tables, or a handful of places that know me well enough that they know I'm not going to tip for the check. I'm going to tip for the table.
Sure.
So
The glutton me has asked, why not just go to a buffet?
subpar food at a buffet.
Okay. See that?
That's
a sticking point
quantity
of my
over
life.
quality, and you have to go for quality.
Myself and Stalin would disagree that sometimes quantity has a quality all its own, sir.
Yes. However,
See, I'm just going to throw a million Russian gentlemen at you
No, I'm
on
down.
the Eastern Front
I'm down.
and snow you in.
Okay.
And, this is so sticking point with my wife. Okay.
Russian on my dad's side, by the way.
All
So
right, okay.
bring the Ruskies.
All right.
Those Vidonia.
Confess your faults before all, and hopefully maybe you can help me with some marital strife that we've been having.
Put on my counselor hat.
Right. So
Okay.
it's hard for me to go to a place that's not like me
Yeah.
because I know, sometimes you the house always wins.
Yeah.
With me, it doesn't. I
Right.
make sure the Golden Corral feels the pain. I'm going to eat 6 steaks of half.
I like it.
To make sure that that $17.99,
Yeah.
you lost with me.
Right.
I know everyone else you won with, but
Sure.
for me, you lost.
Yeah.
She hates Golden Corral. Now,
Okay.
I'm not a big lover of Golden Corral. They just had a commercial. I'm getting a hold of Jessica.
Yeah.
They had a commercial that had steak, and I'm like, okay, now I have to go to Golden Corral.
Is it decent steak though?
Probably
Like, do they
not.
cook it to order?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can order how you want.
Important question.
Yeah,
How do you take your steak?
medium rare, like God intended cow to be eaten.
Medium rare. A
Yeah.
steak well done is
So
not
did
done
you
well.
say medium rare?
Yeah.
Because great observation.
Oh, this side in there?
Yes, I
Yes.
think so. We'll come back to the steak issue in just a second for the people watching. So I'm going to do the triple bypass.
Sure.
He talked me into it. I don't know if you ask some pink, if possible.
Medium cooked.
Yes, or I'd probably medium rare for ground beef isn't the greatest, but
Yeah, not a good
some
idea.
pink would be great. And it comes with the fries.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Or chips are really good too.
How are the fried mushrooms?
I don't do mushrooms.
Okay, then we're not going to do the
Yeah.
mushrooms then. Then we'll just do the fries.
Other people like them.
Yeah,
I'm just not a mushroom guy.
they're good.
Okay.
It's a
They're good, but
texture
our
thing.
fries and our chips are better.
The fries are good. Okay, then we're just going to go fries.
I hope you're ready for this burger. It's like this big.
That's what he tells me.
Yeah.
I am a glutton though, so we're
All
going
right.
to see. We'll see what we can do with it.
Sounds good. What are you doing today?
I'm gonna get the chicken tender dinner.
Chicken tenders?
Yeah.
What's your size?
To my mother's chagrin, I'm gonna have applesauce and mashed potatoes.
Gravy
Why
and
would
potatoes?
your mother be mad with you having a baby, like, entree?
Because there's no vegetables in there.
No greens
It's
at all.
fruit though.
I know. I'm
So
down. I get it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I'm just acknowledging that at some point, if she's watching and she texts me,
Okay.
it's probably gonna be
Why
because
didn't you
why
get-
didn't you eat your vegetables?
Okay. All
Like you eat salad,
have
why
some
wouldn't you at
of
least have a
potato.
salad?
Sorry, my
You
spuds.
mentioned the milkshake.
That's later. Yeah.
If I can get through this burger,
I
we'll see.
hope so.
I'm having the milkshake either way.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that's later.
in our containers.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Sounds
Do
good.
you want gravy on your mashed potatoes?
Yes, but this is where I get annoying. Can I have that on a separate plate? Because I don't want the gravy on my chicken. Because I'm going to put French dressing on the chicken. Yeah.
So fun.
You know what's up. Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else, guys?
I
Solid.
think we're great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll get those in.
Very cool.
Awesome.
No problem. Thank you.
This is a good old time. I wish it was on across all the platforms. Yes, absolutely.
Thanks.
So yeah, as I mentioned before, we're just on the Facebook page, which if you're watching, feel free to share. We'll upload this to YouTube and Periscope and Twitter and all that stuff later on. But what brought us here was, from my perspective, okay, started Micah McCurry Live
Yeah.
little over a month ago, barely, a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been thinking about doing this podcast thing for a while. A lot of people, and the example I give is there's a lot of people I want to talk to for an hour. I don't have a good excuse to, and this gives me an excuse. Obviously, we would not be sitting here, most likely otherwise.
It would have happened at some point.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So funny enough, though, now technically we met, but you know how back in the early 2000s you weren't supposed to talk to strange people on the internet
Yes.
and meet them in person?
Yes.
We are literally doing the exact opposite of that.
Yes.
Because basically our entire interface has been through this. For
Well-
99%.
Yeah, 99%. Because we bumped into each other at different functions and whatever.
Right,
But it's been,
right.
oh, hey, I think I know that
Right.
guy.
But not enough
Yeah.
for us to really get a vibe of that
No.
guy's not going to,
No.
put me in his trunk and
The relationship was developed on Facebook.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Which is a different world. But so
Very.
anyway, so from afar or through the medium of Facebook and all that, I realized that this guy thinks in a different way.
You are not the first person to accuse me of that.
No, I wouldn't even say accusing. I would just say almost like a scientific, very abstract. Just this is how it is, but I also saw. I feel like I saw some kindred spirit there, and I was like, I need to talk to this guy because from what most of the people I talked to on Micah McCurry Live this is number 19, 15, 16, 17 of them have been people in ministry, missionaries, evangelists, pastors, and there have been a few laymen.
Yeah.
And you're one of the select few. And so, but yeah, I was like, he likes science fiction. He's, he has a name that he gave himself. So basically, I was like, I got to talk to you. So yeah.
I was telling my wife last night. I said we had to do this differently than the other episodes that he's done.
Right.
For the sheer virtue of the fact that, frankly, I don't belong on the same list as anybody else you've had on so far.
Okay.
You know, you've had brother Robideau on, and he and I have kind of the same thing where, you know, he came and visited our church, and you know, we've interacted more on Facebook than we have in person.
Right.
Brother O'Malley has become a very good friend over the years, mostly through Facebook, but every time he comes into town, we do this.
Right.
We go to a diner and we enjoy ourselves and have a great time.
Sure.
And but besides those two, I don't know anybody else that was on that list. But from what I've watched so far,
I've got to be on a select list myself. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, unless this is like a parole period, I could still be kicked off the list. Maybe you have to get through the first diner.
No. So my dog is still a probationary puppy.
Okay.
We've had her since 2011.
Okay.
But we tell her that she's probationary because she'll get away with anything.
Okay.
And she'll know it if she thinks she's secure there.
Sure.
So she's the only one that maintains the status of probationary status indefinitely.
Sure.
No, you're here. You're good. We're good.
Very cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good to know.
But like, I have to be on a separate list than the other guys that you've had on so far.
You are.
Yeah.
Well, you're first in person. First that incorporated food, which is I'm an ice chewer, by the way, so you hear that. Tough. I like it.
Deal with it.
Right. But I'm trying to dime out where. So okay, for instance, you gave your, and maybe you can rehash for the people who are listening. Your name is Joe Kutinsky.
Yeah.
What was your full name, Joe?
Joseph Thomas Kutinsky.
Joseph. Okay.
The first.
The first. Yet you also go by the name Sebastian.
At work, yeah.
Okay. At work. Okay.
Yeah. And somewhere on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this leading question? I would say I know the answer, but is this sort of an alter ego, superhero type thing? Like I don this red shirt at Target and I become this other person?
So it was for a while, where not so much like a superhero status, but more of on Thursdays I was generally working a different assignment, and so I would wear the Sebastian name tag on those days, just as a kind of a different thing. But I really only did it, and you already know the answer, but for the benefit of you, because I'm obnoxious and I like to make my boss's eyes roll.
Sure.
So we were in a meeting. We would have meetings out on the sales floor. We had this overhead signing, which Target always has different overhead signing and whatnot. But at this point, they had overhead signing of Santa Claus because it was Christmas time.
Right.
And the one had a trail of a list going many, many feet behind it. And there were all these names on that list. And Joe was not on that list.
Which is a common name. You'd think Joseph, Joe, Joey,
Thank you.
something would be
That's
on
what
there.
I thought. There'd be some variant.
Right.
Jose, whatever. Not
a
on
few
there.
perks of having a name as common as Joe.
Right.
When you say Joe, everyone turns and looks sometimes, but you'd think you'd be on the good list.
Right. And when I started, there were 4 Joes in my store, which is hence the Joe K. But I said to my boss while we're waiting for this meeting to start, his face is buried in his clipboard, getting his notes ready and whatever. I said, hey, boss, listen, my name's not on that list. And he said, what do you want me to do about it? And I said, well, I want my name on the good list, because I assume that's the good list. I want my name on it.
Right.
And he said, I'm not going to climb up there and change the sign. And I was a signing specialist at the time. Okay. And he said, I'm not going to let you go up there and change the sign.
So he expressly forbid you from
I wasn't allowed to go Sharpie it like I wanted to do.
Santa's list. Okay.
Yeah. So I said, well, can I have one of the names off that list? And just to make me go away, I think, he said, fine, whatever you want, that's fine. And went back to his notes. Well, I immediately after the meeting went back to the office and ordered a name tag that said Sebastian.
Because that was the name you chose.
Because that was the name that I chose,
yeah.
right. I had no idea how to spell Sebastian, which it was on a list. You think I would know?
Do you have multiple name tags with different spellings then?
No, I just have the one.
Okay, you just chose a spelling
Yes.
of the name. Okay.
So Sebastian is traditionally spelled S-E-B, etc.
Sure.
I spelled it S-A-B because Sebastian, right?
Right.
Etc. And I actually get into arguments with people about this sometimes.
Oh, over your made up,
Yes.
chosen, fake,
Yeah.
completely imaginary name.
Yeah. I had knee surgery last year, and when I came back to work, they put me on the registers for like a month or two,
Sure.
just to recover.
Right.
And this guy starts insulting my parents about the way they spelled my name, and I'm getting genuinely angry about this, right? I'm not. I 16 years in law enforcement, 15 or 25 years in retail, and I'm. You can pretty much say anything you want to me, and it's not going to really faze me that much.
But insult my.
But dude, do not come after my parents, right? And especially not my fake name that they didn't give me. But I was getting so mad that he was like insulting them about it.
Right.
That like I finally just like became very dismissive of him, which was totally unprofessional. But I did it, and he went away.
We're all about the guests targeted, except for the ones.
Just
except for the
don't
ones.
mock my name.
That is
yeah.
hilarious. Just making sure everything is so good here. If you can't hear or you have an issue with it, please let me know. I'm going to jump back in here and make sure that it is everything is still working properly. I think we're good.
Call us right away. Operators are standing
Jim
by at
Kutinsky?
1-800. Oh, that's my dad.
He says,
Oh, what
such a
has he
proud
done?
moment for your parents, Joe. A piano player at our church said, this is so enlightening. Wilson Leopard, someone you would know, said, feeling a spin-off show. Micah McCurry EATS. I like that. Micah McCurry Live? Micah McCurry EATS? I like that. He said, this is awesome. Stick around. It's going way downhill. And Linda said, I didn't catch Kutinsky.
That's my mother.
I think I've seen that. Said, I didn't catch what vegetable you're having with a...
Apples.
Apples.
Applesauce.
For those that are tuning in,
Potatoes are a vegetable.
we don't know what we're doing. We have no idea. So if you're wondering why we're sitting at a diner, why I'm talking to Joe Kutinsky, well, you have to go back and watch it later on.
He drew the short straw. That's why he's talking to me.
Micah McCurry EATS. Wilson, that's excellent. I like that. That's very good. I do eat.
Can I join you on these adventures if you do that?
So. I think
Can I go with you?
That sounds great. I think what we should probably both do is we should probably...
Hello, welcome back.
That is the most full plate of applesauce I've ever seen.
That's
you
normal.
guys don't mess around. So I'm kind of scared about what my hamburger is going to look like
Brother,
now.
I'm telling you. I told you.
Do not to add more things to it, but do you have jalapenos? Could we just throw those on there too? Because a bacon jalapeno sounds really good to me.
It's $1 more. Is that okay?
That's fine. That'll be all right. Thank you. I will let you. Thank you. I enjoy spicy food. How are you with spicy food? No?
It doesn't like me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying, thank you. You're okay with not feeling rumblies in your tumblies over just eating at odd times, but the spicy thing just doesn't agree with you.
So I'm a sissy.
Okay.
First of all.
Okay.
So like I don't mind heat for flavor. So like a mild wing, something like that.
Okay.
I don't mind that so much, but I don't get this concept of people that eat these things where
it just hurts so much.
It's pain.
Okay, so here's the thing. I can
and
explain
it makes
for you.
them like physically ill.
Okay, so going that far, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Endorphins, man.
Is that what it is?
It's endorphins.
It's the rush.
It's the rush. So here's the thing.
You're just trying to feel alive.
As a Baptist, I'm frowned upon if I use, I'm not saying I ever have, if I use substances that would give you
So
a
you
feeling.
abuse jalapenos.
Yeah, basically.
Confessions with
as
Micah McCurry.
As a former law enforcement, is that going to get me in any kind of trouble? Okay, just make sure. Yeah, no, I enjoy, that's part of it. I very much enjoy, like spicy food.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it was, my mom is half Korean.
Okay, so
and
like
an
kimchi.
excellent cook. Yes.
Yeah.
So what that is, she says I was like either less than a year old, maybe, or a little over a year old, maybe a year and a half, I don't know.
Okay.
Non-verbal.
Yeah.
And she was eating kimchi, and she makes her own a lot of times, and she doesn't make it like non-spicy. My dad likes spicy, she does, and I went like I wanted that. She was like, no, you don't, and I was like She was like, okay, fine, doing that thing. Now she's not a mean parent by any stretch. Love you, Mom. But she gave it to me, I ate it,
Yeah.
and went, and wanted more. And so that's when she knew
She
I
thought she was going to teach you a lesson.
Right.
Let you touch the
And
stove. You'll only do it once.
Right. And I taught
Yeah.
her I am.
You're a hand burner, straight
right,
through.
Exactly.
I got you.
Exactly. So yeah, that's the genesis of my love for
All right.
spicy food. So you
Gotcha.
just never had that.
Yeah,
moment.
no, I recognized that it was going to be problematic for me.
Mm-hmm.
So there's times where, I just make the decision and go for it.
Okay.
I just have to know what my day holds, right?
Sure.
Like if I'm uncertain of where I'm going to be the rest of the day, yes, proper planning is essential.
Right. Right.
But even then, I don't get into really, like, if any of my bros are watching, you'll probably see comments about me being a sissy,
Okay.
which is fine because
Sure.
I don't have the capacity for shame. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
But, yeah, there's some stuff that if it's got a little bit of kick to it, I'm just going to plan my day accordingly.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's wise. That's wise.
Yeah.
Thankfully, God has blessed me with a cast iron. So far, I'm still young, I guess.
You're how old?
I'm 26. I think about it for a second. 26.
That's going to
be
catch up.
27 here soon. That's what people keep telling
Yeah.
me. And I'm going to keep operating as if it's never going to, I think. And so very quickly I'll hit, I'll go from my current weight and like gain 70 pounds like over like a summer because I didn't listen. That's probably what's going to happen.
Don't get injured.
Okay.
Yeah. I was reasonably fit
Okay.
until I tore my meniscus, and everything kind of went downhill from there.
So I've already done the ACL. Thing.
Okay.
So I had surgery.
You're over that hump then. You're
right,
fine.
Right. I already
Yeah.
know. And it thankfully hasn't slowed down the metabolism, and so we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
No, but that's when I got fat.
Oh. Okay.
Is when, like, I hide it well because I'm vertical, but yeah.
Right. Well, someone was asking me. We won't get into my weight and all of that, but someone was like, "You weigh this much? You weigh this much, right?" I was like, "No, good 35 pounds more than that or so." And they're like, "Really?" Like it helps me 6'2".
All people's have advantages.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No. Yeah. There's some. You can look down on people literally and figuratively. So.
I do a lot of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So. There are a lot of avenues we can get into.
Okay.
With this, and I'm having just fun just chopping it up with random things. You had some questions for me as well.
Yes.
I think. And I don't even know. I've asked you a couple questions, I guess. But the Micah McCurry live genre, such as it is, interview and all that stuff. And I've had.
There it is.
Hold on.
There it is. That's happening.
Okay, number one, first observation.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very large.
Yeah.
The fries look excellent. Just looking at them makes me think.
Sorry.
Oh no, that's all right.
So
For posterity,
I'm
I'm gonna
gram this, Instagram
Yeah.
it.
I mean,
think
you
so.
do what you want with
Okay,
it. I'll
I think
send
I
it
have
to you, and you can
I'm
decide.
horrible at taking before pics.
Yeah. Turn it this way
Right,
so we can
this
truly
way.
appreciate what's going on there.
It's kind of
Oh, yeah,
spilling out.
beautiful,
Yeah.
isn't it?
That's really good. So we'll have to lift it up for the people that
Okay.
can't see at home. Let me
There we
lift
go.
this up here.
Yeah, brother,
Let's
I'm
see
gonna
here.
send that to
Let's
you.
see. Can you? Oh, yep. There you go.
Yeah.
That is. Now look at it in comparison to Joe's head. Okay, it's very large.
I have a large head,
Yes,
and that's
so
large.
this is very large. The
Yeah.
Kaiser roll looks good.
That gentleman is
aesthetically-
drooling over this.
Right.
It's the triple bypass, my friend. Yes.
Pretty. Remains to be seen.
We're gonna find
We
out.
shall see. So we're just being well wishes from the gallery here. Thank you. I
Of
think.
course. Anything else right now?
I think
I'm
so.
solid.
Ketchup's right there.
Ketchup's there.
There's
Do you-
mustard, mayo, ketchup on it
On
too.
it.
Yes.
Perfect.
Is there room for any of that?
Do you have any? Speaking of spicy, any other
Yep.
spicy besides Tabasco, Tapatio,
I have
anything?
Frank's Red Hot, or
Okay.
I have an aioli sauce. It's pretty spicy.
I want to try that.
Nice out of it?
Very good. That'd be great.
I'll
Thank
be
you
right
so
back.
much.
Of course.
This is
We-
so exciting.
Did we prayed before we began the interview going on live?
Yeah.
Did you mention the food?
I did. I don't object to talking to God again.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I don't know how these people feel about watching us pray.
Right.
but
So,
like, any chance I can get to talk to God, I'm fine with it.
Public prayer and all that. You know what's always interests me is people watching on replay.
Yeah.
The prayer.
Yeah.
Where what's the
Well, here's the thing. We're not talking to them, and it's not for their benefit.
Thank
So,
you. That looks good as well.
Goodness, that looks
Enjoy.
yeah.
Very good. Very good. Okay.
Really, that aspect of the conversation has nothing
Sure.
to do with them.
Right.
And it's no different, I think, than anybody over there, across the room watching us pray
Sure.
over our food.
Sure.
So I don't feel like
Yeah.
it's like
No.
Yeah.
I think I'm interested in people watching later on.
Oh, yeah.
Hearing the prayer. I've always been interested in replays of prayers. Like, what is the dynamic of? It's just a weird question.
Well, no, I follow you. I think I follow you.
Yeah.
So
like,
I mean, essentially, I think the same logic applies though, because
Sure.
you're not talking to them.
Right.
Ergo, the person who you were talking
Great
to.
point. That, and not to interrupt.
Yeah.
Who was I trying to? The interview's going together now. Someone brought a point. I know this, but you don't always think about it. Talking about worship and the bent of modern worship towards self and all that. And the thought very simply was, worship isn't about you, and that's the point you're making. When worship is about you enjoying it and about you having a good time and all that, that's where you get off the rails.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to pray for us to God so we can eat.
Yeah.
Sound good? All right.
Sounds good.
Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity to talk with Joe and the fellowship. Lord, thank you for this food and how excellent it looks. I ask you to bless us now and help me to not get sick later. In your son's name we pray. Amen. I pray that sincerely. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I don't get sick. So here's an issue, and it's funny how, what's the word I'm looking for? How authentic, I'm going for live because it's authentic, right?
Yeah.
So authentically, what do you do about the fact that I need to use a restroom because I've drunk a lot of water during a live interview? Do you just hold down the fort?
I think
for a moment?
somebody's gonna have to listen to me monologue.
I think you're gonna have to monologue.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Is
cool?
that? I think you should take your mic off before you go.
My mic off because that's
gonna get.
That's a good idea.
It'll be an interesting conversation if you don't.
So monologue overlaid with.
Yeah.
I think we'll just put this off to the side right here. Thank you for those that are listening. This is about as real as you can possibly get.
Yeah.
Micah McCurry EATS live. I will be back. Where is the restroom, by the way?
So it's that door right over there to the left of the entrance.
I see it.
You want the first one there, not the second one, because that's the ladies.
You say whatever God has for you to say. I said God because that could go really bad if you get him involved. So you go ahead.
Yeah, we're just going to go. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you about another person who had to stall for time. Mike Rowe, who is a person I'm a big fan of, tells a story about when he applied to be on QVC. They had an interview process where they basically took out a yellow number 2 pencil, set it on the table, and said, "Tell us about this for the next 8 minutes." So he picked up the number 2 pencil and he began looking at it, and he talked about the rubber of the eraser and how it came from rubber trees in the Amazon, and extolled the many virtues of rubber over other materials that could have been utilized for that. And then he explained the metal banding that holds the eraser in place. He then proceeded to explain the wood that it was made from, the graphite involved, the yellow paint, and how it was high visibility. And then he starts describing the many fine attributes of this thing. And he's explaining about how, because it's bright yellow, when you pull the drawer open of your desk and you see that, you can easily identify it and see right away, there's my yellow number 2 pencil. And so that made it superior to other options like a clear Bic pen or something like that. He talked about how he had many opportunities to correct mistakes that you've made because you can erase them. And he just went on and on and on about this number 2 pencil for 8 whole minutes. And they finally said, "Okay, you've done a great job. You've got the job." And they stuck him on midnight shift, and he'll have to pick up the story another time from there because our host has returned.
Fantastic. Let me get my mic situated there. One thing I will say, Tip Top has very clean restrooms. The gentleman was
That's the thing
actually
you gotta
in there
look for.
cleaning. He had just started, so I got to see the before he had cleaned, and it was already clean, and he was cleaning. And now we get to this. Let's see. How do you attack this is the question.
Brother, I got no idea. I've seen one other man attack this.
Okay. How did he do?
He conquered it. Yeah.
Oh, good. Thanks for that shut up confidence into the possibility that I do not. And those, I am feeling those individual Oreos right now.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, aioli is very good. If you don't like watching us eat, again, tough, I guess. There's
Tough break. Tune back in later.
Right.
Give us 20 minutes, but you're gonna miss. You're gonna miss good conversation in that meantime.
Right. In the meantime. So what did I miss while I was gone?
I told a story.
Okay.
I figured if I'm going to stall, I'm going to stall in the best way I know how. And I told a story about Mike Rowe, who is my spirit animal. And when he went for his audition for QVC, their audition process was...
Was this like before Dirty Jobs?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay,
It was one of his first on-screen jobs. And they
I
basically...
seriously have no idea. But
Yeah, I don't
ahead.
know, bro. They pulled out a number 2 pencil, set it on the table, and said, "Tell us about this pencil. You have 8 minutes."
Okay.
And he had to fill 8 minutes
Okay.
of, what do you talk about for a number 2 pencil?
Okay, and which is great for QVC because that's basically what they do with things sometimes less interesting than a pencil.
That is exactly what they do.
Okay.
And that's how he got the job at QVC.
So how long did he work there? Because I never knew he worked at QVC.
He was at QVC for 3 years,
Okay.
on nights, and because they'd start you off on the midnight shift. And I think he got fired multiple times.
Because
He's a little bit crazy like I am.
sure.
Again, my spirit animal.
Right. So just saying less than complimentary things about
He was very
products
honest about products. And so if he thought that they
which
seemed
is
like they
something
were
on
kind of crummy,
QVC that you
Yeah.
can't really do because there are some things on there are just great.
Yeah, I
Some
know.
things on the other hand are not. So this is not even like a full cross section. This is like a very small piece, but that is a large chunk of. You can see the cheese melting in between there. Man, tip-top restaurant in is it Stow?
Stow.
Technically? Okay.
yes.
So technically not in Akron. So this could not be considered part of the Akron food scene, technically, right?
Greater Akron.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Greater Akron area.
I don't know how they make their burgers, but
They
Are we
make
just
them well
gonna
enough. Yeah.
that we can talk with a mouthful, or I
Yeah.
don't know because it's me hard
I
to
think.
continue a
I
conversation.
mean, that's what I'm saying. If you don't chew into the mic,
right.
and try to
We'll
time
take
your bites.
We'll take turns.
Yeah.
So you talk, back
Yeah.
and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's just how it's gonna have to be. What
That's
I
very
like
good.
is we both agreed to take turns and we both took a bite at the same time. We're gonna take turns.
Right.
It'll be fine. I'm going first.
My turn.
Yeah.
Condiments. What are your thoughts on?
Ketchup is God's condiment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Goes with everything.
You don't like spicy, but sriracha, maybe God's. I realize it sounds very heretical. The Asian gods. God is not bound by race or color or creed.
This
So-
is probably the last episode of Micah McCurry Live.
No,
'Cause I think-
this is just the first
'cause I think-
episode of Micah McCurry EATS.
Yeah.
But I'm part Asian, right? I can't offend. Isn't that the rule? You can make fun of.
Yeah, you can do whatever.
You are?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've been blessed. Now, much more often in the Midwest where people don't know what sometimes people of other ethnicities look like. I've had people confuse me with all sorts of ethnicities because I have that kind of ambiguous, type thing. I need to shake this up first.
Yeah. Let me tell you about my wife.
Okay. Well, okay. She is not white. Let's start with those that Angela. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I was going to ask in the most tactful way possible.
Sure. No,
what
it's fine.
ethnicity? And I was just going to start by saying that she is not Caucasian.
Okay. Funny story.
Okay.
I play this game, right?
Okay. I like games.
Because most of my games involve psychology.
Okay. What's that? I'm sorry.
How are we doing so far?
Super.
Excellent. I haven't really started yet, but I think we're doing great.
He's
Thank
very
you.
excited about this burger, and I'm excited to see how he does on it.
I'm curious.
If we stick around until 9, I might be able to get through it all. We'll see.
Figure it
We'll
out.
do our best.
Enjoy.
Yeah, it's gonna be the longest episode of Micah McCurry Live. So, I play this game called Guess My Wife's Ethnicity,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And in fact, for a while, we called her Tokenese because she was whatever we needed her to be, right? I also called her the affirmative action grab bag because, again, whatever nationality we need her to be, and she's a woman, so she covers all the bases.
There you go.
Right. So it stemmed because I had a landlady that, when we were still engaged, wanted to know why my parents were okay with me marrying one of them. And that conversation went south fast because I don't really tolerate that kind of thing.
Sure.
Like, it's okay. Let's laugh about it. Let's mock the ignorance.
Right.
I'm fine with that. But don't be ignorant.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Directly to me about my fiance.
Right.
Right.
So, then right after 9/11, I had a lady that I worked with that said, how's Angela's family doing with all of this? And I said, what? And she says, well, how's Angela's family doing?
You, sir, live too close to the center of the United States.
Yeah.
We are just a couple hundred miles from where. Okay, keep going.
There was a cheesesteak restaurant that we would frequent. That would always give me extra meat on my sandwiches.
Okay.
Until the one day when she very nicely asked my wife where she was from. And my wife, we're going to answer your question at the same time as I tell this story.
Okay.
My wife says, where are you from? My wife says, Stow. And she says, no, where are your parents from? And she says, yeah, Akron. And I said, no, honey, because she's very intelligent, but she's very sweet.
So was she being completely?
She was being very sincere with this nice lady.
Okay.
You know, and I said, no, sweetie, she wants to know like your heritage. And my wife says, well, on my mom's side I'm German, and on my dad's side I'm Italian. And I went, there goes my free extra meat. And it did. That was it. I never got it again. I had to pay for extra meat after that. But it's fine. Whatever. No big deal. But yeah, so she is. Her dad is Italian. I think he's second generation, and like Sicilian area. I know you guys are sensitive about that. Sorry.
Oh, my pastor, Joe Kutinsky, is Sicilian.
Okay.
And I don't think he has a problem with being labeled Italian, though he'd correct you.
Nobody good. They're very proud of Sicilian.
Yes.
Yeah. But so that's where the darker skin comes from. And then her mom is German. And so I often say that she's, my wife is the trifecta of angry. She's half German, she's half Italian, and she's short. So it's just all the anger is in a tiny little package.
And a woman.
Yeah.
So you have
I wasn't going
the volatility. I'm sure no one would be offended by.
I wasn't going to be sexist about it, Micah, but whatever you want to do, man. It's your show.
So, after I put my foot in my mouth about, so she would not be technically Caucasian then. Is that true?
No.
Or
well, I mean,
was it? I guess the
Italian and German.
Yeah. So what is the definition of Caucasian?
No. So yeah, strictly speaking, I'm Caucasian. Because the Caucasus is like Western Europe. Now, funny story to go back to my wife.
Okay.
I'm at work playing my game one day, and I ask a guy, he asks, and I never, I don't walk up to people and go, hey, guess my wife's ethnicity, because that's weirder than me. I'm a weird dude, but that's weird even for me.
So are you saying you do have the capacity to feel some sort of shame?
I don't feel shame, but I'm cognizant of other people's capacity for shame.
All right.
And I try to be respectful about it.
Sure.
But if you start the conversation, I'm going to have some fun with it. Right?
That's funny.
I almost looked down to chew, but I realized I would put my mouth closer to the microphone. And we've already done the one thing where we said, we're not going to do this, and then we did it.
Right.
Yeah. So, he asks, hey, what is your, what's going on? What's your wife's ethnicity? Or however he wanted to ask it. And I said, well, this is a fun game. And I explained my game. I said, now you guess. And he said, Lithuanian. And I said, my friend, do you know where Lithuania is? And he said, no, it just sounded foreign. And I said, Lithuania is the whitest of the white, my friend. That is Caucasia. That is the Caucasus.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't get whiter than that.
Just a grab bag of a Slovakia of some sort, or
yeah.
I enjoy a little bit of MMA and things, and there are some gentlemen from Dagestan in those areas that don't ask me to label them on a map or whatever, but they're just complete, just killers, just absolute.
Sure.
Just and so a lot of, I guess if you grew up in the Soviet Union, you are a little tougher than the average bear. Yeah. That's not a Russian joke. But
cold winters, man.
Right.
There's really no hope for anything else.
Very tender. which I guess ground beef you assume would be so, but it's a good burger. It's very good.
Yeah, again, nothing here is life-changing, but everything is solid. Yeah. Okay, so my question's for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I'm going to just go ahead and usurp your show now.
Yeah, please, please.
So I have a series of questions I ask people.
Okay.
And it's not really a series because that implies that there's some sort of logic behind them. And there's not. It's just a bunch of questions that I like to ask people. Because it's more interesting saying, hey, what do you do for a living? Tell me about your job that you just got done working 8 hours at and like really probably don't want to think about right now. Right. So I started looking at different avenues of conversation. My usual opener is, if you could have only one kind of pie for the rest of your life, but you had to have one slice of it with every meal, what would you have?
It's kind of like one of those, 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck questions. Is that coming up later on, or?
No.
Okay.
This one is a little bit of a psychological test because it tells me a lot about you.
Okay, I'll have to think. We'll talk my way through it for myself here.
Okay. However you got to get there.
Not a huge apple. I don't dislike apple pie, but not a huge fan. I'm not a big pie fan because it's one of the few foods that one of the desserts I wouldn't add more milk to. I don't think about it too hard, but anyway.
Okay.
Blueberries okay, but wouldn't be the one I go with. To be honest with you, my first instinct, and the more I think about it, I probably, I love peach, especially. Can I have whipped cream with topping?
I mean, whatever you want to have with it.
Okay.
You just have to have one slice of it with every meal, and it's the only one you get for the rest of your life.
Right. Love peach, but right off the bat, I may be wrong. I may have to backtrack, and this may come up, when I run for public office and someone, accuses me of, pieism or something.
This meal is going to ruin any chances you have of running for public office. Conversations with me generally do.
But the first one that comes to mind, and the one that just keeps occurring, is strawberry rhubarb.
That's bold.
I'm a bold guy.
I can tell. Yes.
So yeah,
see, that's what I'm saying.
That was my first thought, because I like that tartness. I love strawberries.
Yeah.
But straight strawberry pie, I've never had a really good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, the interplay. Yeah.
Because the strawberry sort of tames down the rhubarb a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
What does it tell me? Tell me where I'm at on the personality test thing. I mean, have you ever had strawberry rhubarb as a? You have. Okay.
It's not a strict guideline.
Okay.
But it's just a gauge, right? So like a lot of people answer apple. It's the most common answer.
Boring.
Not boring.
Or American, I guess.
But safe.
Okay.
Right?
I like safe.
Safe is not the same as boring. Safe, you think, well, if I say apple, like nobody's going to judge me for that. The worst they can say is that I'm boring. Right?
Right.
Is that really so bad? But, like, what about peach? Peach is almost like apple,
right?
But it's got a little bit of zing.
Right.
It's got a little bit different than apple.
Right.
Pecan.
Not a big pecan guy, but.
So I love pecan pie.
Okay.
I only get it once or twice a year because it's so rich. It's just too much.
Exactly.
Right. What I look for is the guy that says, well, is apple okay? Well, yeah, apple's okay. Well, okay, but can it be like my grandmother's apple pie, even though she died like 7 years ago? Yeah, it absolutely can. Because now what you're telling me is, this is a person who's really important to you, right? So now I'm going to start asking questions about your grandmother, specifically about her apple pie.
Gotcha.
And then we just
so
go
then
from
it goes
there.
Back to the conversation starter.
Now we've got a really good, interesting conversation happening here, right?
So I hopefully I didn't shut that down too much by just saying I'm not a big pie person.
No, my follow-up.
Okay.
Is that your favorite?
Pie?
Yeah, is that your favorite pie? Strawberry rhubarb.
If my favorite, that would be, like if I was presented with a multitude of pies, that would be the one I would go for.
Yeah.
I've only had like one really good apple pie. Shout out to Fort Riley. My dad was in the military.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was called, Historical Society or something. They sold these pies. They made them in this huge, assembly line, and they sold them.
Okay.
To raise money for the Historical Society, because they have all these, old Civil War, date back to the Civil War houses and things. That's the only truly amazing apple pie. I'm so sorry to all the church folks that have probably made an apple pie in the last, 5 years of me being here, and for potlucks and things. But that's the only one I can remember.
There's not going to be one apple pie at your next church function.
Probably not. Or someone's gonna try to make it, and I'll have to eat it and be like, that's so good, so good. Or people can just make a bunch of strawberry rhubarb, and I'd be happy. I'd be okay with
There
that.
you go. Because my general follow-up after that is, if you say yes, that is my favorite pie, are you concerned that you will grow to resent that pie because you have it every meal, every day for the rest of your life, to the exclusion of all others? And this is a consideration because you could have the memory of that pie. You've had that pie.
Right. Is the
It's just
memory
going
better than the actual
forward.
pie?
Yeah. So
So-
going forward, do you get your not favorite pie, but a pie that you can tolerate for the rest of your life? Or do you go with your favorite and just enjoy it and just learn to not resent it?
And for the two of you following along at home, my riposto, is that how you say? Riposto? How do you say it? Riposta? It's a fencing term. Riposte.
I don't know that term.
Riposte.
Okay.
Well, someone can tell me in the comments. Sound it out for me.
Google it.
For those that would think, I would grow to resent that pie. I would not like it anymore. I was trying to think of a rhyme for a Dr. Seuss type thing there. But my riposte to that, if I'm saying it correctly for the fourth time, I feel like any answer, a negative answer I give would be indicative of of a general marriage relationship, because that is the practical application of the question you're asking. Because I don't anticipate having strawberry rhubarb for the rest of my life every day. But I do anticipate being married, hopefully she does as well, being married to my wife every day for the rest of my life, barring the Lord's return. So, but honestly, and this is not just to cover myself, I would say,
She's watching right now.
right, I would not say that I would grow to resent it. There would be times, it would just be, I feel like we can get really deep with this, but no, I think I would enjoy it for what it is. Yeah. Well, that can take a wrong turn very quickly, so I'm just going
Yeah.
to shut my mouth and go back to this massive hamburger.
Listen, I have a very large, comfortable couch if she doesn't let you back in tonight.
Sounds good.
All right, so next question. 5 people. This question is called Table for 6.
Okay.
5 people that you would want to share a meal with that are still living that you've never met. Now, you can have all 5 of them at the table with you at once. You can do like one-on-ones, or you can have any combination thereof.
I could overthink this, but I've learned in the last 3, 4, 6 months, sometimes you just got to fire from the hip sometimes.
There you go.
I will think about it while I take this bite here.
I had a guy take 3 months to answer this once.
What's that?
I had a guy that took 3 months to answer this.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So, some people really think this. I had a girl that I work with answered right off the bat 5 answers. And it was all handsome actors. And I said, "Are you just going on dates?" And she said, "Well, you didn't say I couldn't." So, that's fair. I didn't.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Ah, I'm losing the top of this thing. See what happens when you cut all the way through and you get to the knife. We'll put that back down. I don't think there was ever a chance I was going to pick this thing up and eat it. Also, side note,
There has to be a point at which you do pick it up and eat it, though, I think.
I might try.
For the benefit of the viewers want to see it. Comment now below. Call in. Our operators are standing by. 1-800 Micah McCurry Live.
Right.
Do you have that yet?
No, I should.
You should have that.
I should have it.
It should be your
Yeah,
personal
Micah,
cell phone number.
Yeah. Didn't pick up on the phone and just be talking to callers.
That's how you control your brand.
I didn't, for an Asian, I did not do the math very well. I understood
We're going to get along just fine.
that it said 3 half-pounds. That means there's a pound, for those of you watching at home, pound and a half. That is a lot.
That's a lot of meat, brother.
Yes.
Because there's
Not to
also
mention
all
everything
the
else.
bacon.
Right, 9 slices. I mean, that's a solid, I don't know,
That's got to be
pound
yeah.
at least. So, and then everything else. Man, I'm not avoiding your question. Let's see.
No, I like how you stall. That was really well done.
I'm also stalling on this too. It's kind of a, kind of a duo thing. I'm, 2 birds, 1 stone. One that I would mention, I recommended him in private to a few people, and now that he has a channel that would be more palatable to some folks. A gentleman named Gary Vaynerchuk. Heard of him before?
Mm-mm.
He is you could call him a serial entrepreneur.
Okay.
He was from, let's see, the old Soviet Union. He's like 43 now. I'm trying to remember where. It wasn't Ukraine. Maybe Latvia or something. I'm probably butchering.
Somewhere
I'm
in
not
the
sure.
Caucasus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's at least he's Jewish as well. He was able to come to the United States on an exchange. The U.S. gave the Soviet Union a bunch of wheat, a bunch of food, and the Soviet Union released like 100,000 Jews.
Oh, okay.
So interesting story there.
Yeah.
But he is if you just look up his stuff, and follow him on Instagram, you could think that he's maybe a motivational speaker.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not. He's just does business and does it very well, and he talk about strategy. Part of me starting this podcast was born out of listening to some of his material,
Okay.
reading some of his books and things. And so, for those of you with that the most likely viewers of this, you can find him at Curse Free Gary V on YouTube, because he is not. He can be blue sometimes, but he has a YouTube channel, Curse Free Gary V. Bleeps it out or silences it and things like that. And so, he would be one. He was the first one that just came to mind.
Okay.
So, I might have to continue to think about it. I'm not trying to stall, but I'm just have to think about it. So, in the meanwhile, though, do you have other questions that we should get to?
First of all, where's that fort you were talking about with the apple pie?
The one?
The fort with the apple pie?
The fort?
Yeah, where's that at? I'm like a server. I waited till you put food in your mouth and then I asked you the
I
question.
see what you did there, though.
Yeah.
You let me expound on something about pie,
Uh-huh.
and then you dimed in on that.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Very nice. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a grandma. It was his fort.
Yeah.
I like that. That's very, taking you behind the curtain here. That's very good.
Oh.
Fort Riley, Kansas.
Okay.
It is about an hour away from Topeka, Kansas, which doesn't mean anything to you. It's in the northeast corner, 2 hours from Kansas City.
Okay.
So it's actually right outside of Manhattan, Kansas, which is, by all accounts, just about the exact geographical center of the continental United States.
Really?
And so we lived in Manhattan, Kansas. My dad was in the military.
How long did you live there?
That was actually the longest duty place that my dad was at a duty station. And so that would have been, let me think, close to 5 years, something like that.
Okay.
So
you moved around a lot as a kid.
yes. Long story short, born in Texas, moved to California, then Virginia, then Kansas the first time, then to Germany for 4 years, back to Virginia, second time, back to Kansas, and then went to college out in California.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
9. I just the tiniest little bit. 1, 2, 3.
How old were you when you were there?
I was like, my mom could tell me better. 7 to 11, 8 to 12, something like that.
That's a good time for language development too.
Yes. Couple things. One of the places we lived, if I'm not mistaken, we lived like on the base, so you're not exposed to as much.
Right.
One of the other places it was kind of off base, but the German kids kind of jerks sometimes, and so they were also a little older than
Historically,
most of the other ones.
yeah.
I do have some German on one side, and so I find that very amusing. And the Jewish in me also finds that somewhat amusing as well. For our German viewers, your grandparents did it. It's not, it's their fault. Yeah, so the older generation at that time would have been however long ago it was, 15 years ago. They seemed to be very considerate, very respectful, very nice. The next generation, probably much like America, but they were just very. I got burnt with a cigarette by a German kid.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm up until not recently, but I was always pretty sure that I had the tiniest little scar on my forearm from it. I can't find it these days, but I'm also a little bit more hirsute, is that the word? Hairy, I think. Then so it's harder to find. But
now,
what
is that because of your heritage or because they were jerks?
just being jerks, just
Okay.
kids. So they had like these line of bushes. What's the word I'm looking for? The Allies had a huge
Hedgerow?
problem with hedgerow.
Yeah.
Normandy, yes, D-Day. That's what I was looking for. And you could almost get. They had like hollowed it out some, so you could actually go back in there, and so they had like their clubhouse. I guess
Yeah.
it was a good 200 yards away. And so they did whatever they did there, smoking cigarettes and things. And
Kids being
so we
kids.
were playing. Right.
Yeah.
We were playing, and for some reason or another, I was outside playing Cowboys and Indians,
Yeah.
as children do.
Uh-huh.
And I had my cap gun, had my cowboy hat and all that. For some reason or another, we got into it with them, and the kid burnt with a cigarette. And so I chased him with as a good American.
Yeah.
I flipped around my cap gun because I knew it didn't actually do anything good.
Sure.
And was chasing him to whack him on the head with the butt end,
Get
the
some.
pistol with him,
Yeah.
revolver with him.
Yeah.
And so he was much faster than I was. He was like 3 or 4 years my senior.
Good thing for him.
Hey, right. They ran, hid in their hedgerow, and we knew it wouldn't be wise to go in there. That was their territory, kind of like the Americans during Vietnam.
Yeah.
Not wise to go into the Viet
So you
Cong.
had your buddy jump over the hedge, clear the path for you.
No, what I did was I
Oh.
brought an M1 Abram, and we just mowed his
Nice.
No, but
Get
yeah.
some.
So, but that was right about close to the time we left that area, so we didn't have any more run-ins with them.
Gotcha.
But I was proud of myself for chasing him, though.
Yeah, man.
Very.
Don't let
very
that stand.
John Wayne, right?
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood, you feeling lucky punk type thing.
Right.
So, yeah, but yeah, that was Germany. That's not my memory.
Thank you very much.
That was not my memory. I have great respect for
Yeah.
people, and I look back very fondly on my time there. So
Most
yeah.
of it.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, no, even that was a formative time of, I chased it. I feel good about that.
Look at that. See, that's
I
interesting
said the thing,
because
yeah.
a lot of people don't take the positive lessons that they can learn from a negative situation. I like that. Yeah.
We did not grow up with. I mentioned this recently on a podcast. We did not grow up with a lot of. I wouldn't say we didn't grow with no positive reinforcement. We didn't grow up with praise
Yeah.
as kids. My parents. I joke, and there's a measure of truth in jest.
Sure.
I joke that if you weren't getting yelled at, you were doing a good job.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have had it. Looking back, I wouldn't have had it any other way, because I developed my own self-esteem.
Yeah.
Who I am was not some inflated, skewed version of "you're so awesome, Micah. You're just the greatest, and you can do no wrong."
Right.
And so I had to figure out who I was for myself.
Okay.
And so, not to get too deep into my personal psychology and all that, but
I will. Don't worry.
yeah. But no, I appreciate the fact that I was not coddled to an extensive degree.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't think I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna keep working on it, but I don't know that's gonna happen.
I don't think you should be discouraged. I think you should keep plowing.
I will. But
Because here's the thing.
What?
Your kids are watching.
That's true. It's true.
Also, your wife is watching.
But I'd asked her if she wanted me to bring anything home. I'd be like, honey, I did this for you.
Yeah, but okay, I'm going to clue you in.
Okay.
Listen, I've been married 15 years.
Okay. That year you got me by 9 years.
We started dating my senior year of high school,
Okay.
right? And so really we've been together for about 21 years.
Still doing okay? Sorry to interrupt.
I'm doing as well as I possibly can.
No
We're
rush on it. But if a Butterfinger milkshake ends up here with just a small sample side from my friend here,
Make that
so that he
happen.
can at least try it.
Do you have mint chocolate chip milkshakes?
Shakes?
Or do you
I
say
mean, I can
shakes?
make it happen. We have mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Because I'm thinking, regardless of what happens with this, I can still, at this present moment,
Yeah.
eat a milk chocolate chip milkshake.
Yeah.
So I think I'll have one, unless I needed to try the butter.
I think you should try the Butterfinger.
I'll put a little on the side.
Still do.
for
You say
Yeah,
Butterfinger? Or
Yeah,
butter?
Butterfinger. Okay, here's the thing.
Okay.
I am mint chocolate chip through and through,
Okay.
right? Like we'll drive a couple miles that way, and I'll get you one of my favorite shakes if you
Okay,
want.
okay.
But these milkshakes, like, I came in one night on duty,
Right.
and I had like 2 other cars were with us, so there were 6 of us here.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Can I have a milkshake and just divide it out between us?" They didn't give us extra, and it was fine for all 6 of us.
So
This
okay.
is a milkshake, my friend.
I will take the little sample,
Okay.
and make a decision for myself because almost all persuaded me, but I would like to taste and see that the.
Let me see if this
that
puts you
Joe
over
is
the
good. Okay, go
Let
ahead.
me see if this puts you over the
Okay.
top.
Okay.
Right? Again, I'm mint chocolate chip through and through.
Mm-hmm.
I ordered a chocolate one day, and Frankie, God bless her, says that's not what you want. And I said, "What?
She
What
helps
do
steer
I
you.
want?"
Tells him what he wants.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said, "What do I want?" And she said, "You want the Butterfinger milkshake." I said, I don't really like Butterfinger candy bars.
Okay.
They're not bad. It's
I
just
was
not a
gonna say,
thing I
enjoy them, but it's not like my most favorites. I like
That's
peanut
what I'm
butter.
saying.
I'm an oil milkshake person. I like all
Yeah.
oil.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm not
So
really
you're
that
saying
into
I just
it.
need to have my own Butterfinger.
Yeah.
I just need to just make the decision now.
That's
not
up
even
to,
wait on
that's
the
up to
sample.
you. That's up to you.
Okay. What do you
But what
think?
I'm saying is,
do
she
you
says
think?
this. This is what Frankie says.
Yeah.
She says, "Listen, I'm going to bring you that milkshake, and if you don't like it, I'll pay for it." And I said, "Bring me the milkshake."
Okay.
I've never ordered another kind of milkshake since I came here, since that time.
He's very adamant.
Go with the expert is what I'm learning. So you're saying it's large though.
Can you bring them in to-go cups?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are
That
you
way.
both okay with whipped cream?
Yeah. Do
Yes.
people say no to that? Do you punch them in the face?
They're
want
ordering
to.
a
You
milkshake,
should.
and then
Yeah.
they say no to the whipped
Yeah,
cream.
I feel like it's a sin. Like it's wrong.
Yeah.
That's right. You're
It's not right.
you're correct. You're correct.
So, yeah.
It's somewhere in the Bible.
2 Butterfinger milkshakes, whipped
Yeah.
cream, to-go cups.
That'd
Yeah.
be perfect.
I'll be back.
Take your time
Great.
on that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Plenty
Yeah,
of time.
because he's still got to finish this.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't gotten to the actual bun. No, I worked on the bottom bun here.
Here's my 21 years of experience for you.
Okay, go ahead.
My 21 years of relationship experience.
Yes.
Random unsolicited advice to you in particular. Okay?
Yes.
Actually, not so random. Totally unsolicited, but here it is anyway.
To me, yes.
If you take home your scraps for your wife, instead of getting her something that is totally hers, that she will enjoy, she'll see right through that. You're bringing me your scraps, the thing you couldn't handle, and now you're bringing it to me to finish the job, Micah.
That makes me think of.
Be the man in your house. Are you going to the conference at the end of the month?
The men's conference?
Yes.
Yes.
Because
Yes,
this is what they're going to talk about.
Right.
At some point, they're going to say,
you're going to make sure
finish the
Scott
stinking
Pauley
burger.
points it out.
I'm gonna
So
find him
all
and pull him to the side and explain it.
All I could think of
Yeah.
was the Spartan wives. Bring back your shield. What was it? Bring your shield back, or be or on it. What's that phrase?
I forget what the exact phrase is, but the sentiment is you either
come back
carry your
with
shield back
or on it.
come
That's
back
right.
on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Basically, be carried dead on your shield
Right.
back, or come back with it.
Right.
So, either come back with no burger. It's not really a poetic way to say it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm
Go
gonna text
home
my wife and
as the
ask her.
conqueror, is what I'm saying.
Maybe she'll just say the burgers are good enough. Maybe she'll be like,
Do you want to take your wife good enough, or do you want to wow her?
That's good. That's good.
Here's a
Good
Sunday
question.
school lesson for you. You ready? This is an illustration I used in Sunday school one day. I said, look, if I go to Burger King, I'm going to go in Burger King. I'm going to expect the kid behind the counter to be bored. And then I'm going to expect that the food I get might match what I actually ordered. Because the guy in the kitchen doesn't really care what's going on.
Right.
Right? And I'm going to eat that food, and it's going to be adequate. I'll be filled. My belly will be full. I'll move on with my day.
Right.
I go into Chick-fil-A, right? I walk in the door. The kid behind the counter is excited to see me, and he greets me excitedly. And the person in the kitchen makes my food and makes it pretty and presentable because they want me to enjoy it as much as they enjoy it when they eat it, right?
Right.
And when the person brings it up, to my table, they want to know, is there anything else we can do for you? They're very excited to make me happy, right?
Right.
Here's a little secret. Oh, and I'm going to eat it, and it's going to be adequate, but I'm going to be really, really satisfied when I'm done. And here's the dirty little secret. There is no difference in quality of food between Burger King and Chick-fil-A. The difference is Burger King says we want you to have it your way.
Chick-fil-A lives.
Chick-fil-A lives it. Chick-fil-A's Burger King does enough to not get in trouble. Chick-fil-A tries to wow you. Right? So, do you want to do enough to not get in trouble? Or do you want to wow your wife? You're welcome.
This has been the marriage moment with Joe Kutinsky. It's good. Good. I still don't know if it's going to change how much more of this I eat.
It's your life, bro. I'm just here to support you.
Right. I appreciate the support.
Yeah.
But I didn't eat enough Oreos to make an excuse. What I will say is,
It's a monster, isn't it?
the meat is excellent. Once you get to about this point, I would not use the word greasy. It's not greasy.
No.
But it's definitely not lean.
Well, it's ground beef.
Right.
And when you have that volume of ground beef, it's you're going to get some fat and grease in it.
Right.
That's
which
just how it is.
Which I enjoy for its flavor. Is excellent for the ability for me to feel like I can continue.
I will remind you, the first person to complete this task was a 13-year-old girl.
And you know, I tooted my own horn about how I eat so much.
That's to your edification,
Then-
not to your tear you down.
Right.
Yeah.
I completely how I took it.
Yeah. The wounds of a friend.
I opened the podcast by the first line on the audio version was something like iron. The Bible says in Proverbs 27:17,
Yeah,
iron
iron
sharpens
sharpens
iron.
iron, yeah.
Right. But probably didn't feel good for the iron. So, yeah. But I do love leftovers. But maybe I'm just making excuses for myself now.
There's no, listen,
There's no easy way out.
there's,
There's no shortcut home.
no, that wasn't what I was going to go for. Little montage. Rocky style montage of you eating this burger. Can we edit that later? Can that be a thing?
I think we can a music video here at Tip Top.
No, here's what you have to do. You have to take some of the footage from this of you eating it, right? Because it's a montage.
Right.
Then you have to drive down to the park, get a couple bites of it there, some footage of that. You have to drive to your friend's house, get some there while he's cheering you on to the
If you guys
side.
can just imagine that.
Yeah.
Because I think that's going to take a lot of video editing and work.
So you're not-
I don't think it's going to happen.
All
But
right.
It sounds like a great idea.
It's one of my many ill-conceived ideas. Sounds great on paper.
That would be.
A lot of effort to do that. That's the lengths I would go to for a joke that I would actually do that, though.
It's probably worth it. Probably worth it.
Purely just to make me laugh.
Right.
That's all I would
If
do.
nobody
it for.
else.
If other people are
Right,
amused,
and I've said this, and I'm going to keep my streak going of saying this for every podcast, that if no one else is watching, I'm having a good time.
yeah.
I am currently pleasantly full,
Yeah.
and could be obscenely and hurtfully full here soon.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
So, that's all
I
that
mean,
matters.
you've just described my Facebook page. Even if nobody else is watching, I'm having a good time.
So, have you ever considered? Gotta ask. I am no expert. You know, tastemakers have no taste sometimes. Have you ever considered stand-up comedy?
I mean, I like the idea of it,
Sure.
but I feel like I enjoy, I have kind of a writer mindset.
Sure.
You said earlier, my brain works differently than other people, and it does. I have the brain of a writer. I have the brain of an engineer. It's a weird, conflagration going on up
Sure.
here. And so that's probably not the right word. But anyways,
Sounds good.
yeah, it sounds good. It's a big word. Nobody knows what it means. They're Googling right now. Conflagration is spelled with a K. It's not. It's spelled with a C. But the point is, I like situational. You know what I mean? And so I could write a funny joke.
Right.
I can tell a funny story. But, at the end of the day, I'm a very selfish person. And I want to be amused.
Sure.
And it doesn't amuse me to stand in front of people and tell the same joke over and over and over again, even if it's different people.
So the
You know what I mean?
enjoyment you don't, not narcissistic, but you don't.
Oh, it's totally narcissistic.
Well, no.
Yeah.
So you're saying maybe it is, but you don't feel like you get much out of the crowd enjoying your creation. You don't feel like you get that. Or you enjoy it the first time, and after that, it's kind of because the question I'd ask is, why reshare old random advice to no one in particular on Facebook as they come up with memories if we don't enjoy rehashing old material.
Two-part answer to your question.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, if you ever ask me the table for 6 question,
Sure.
hands down, individual. It's never going to be a table for 6.
Okay.
It's always going to be 5 different dinners.
Okay.
Because I'm selfish. I farm out my hospitality because I want to focus on you.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I like the one-on-one. I value the one-on-one.
Okay.
There's value to me in a group.
Sure.
You know, I've got my bros I hang out with almost every Thursday night. There's 4 or 5 of us, depending, varying group. But like, and there's value in that. But I value one-on-one time, right?
Sure.
So, to answer your question about stand-up, yeah, I mean, I don't mind telling a story 6 different times if it's 6 different people.
Sure.
But I'd rather have your reaction than the reaction of everybody in this room. Does that make sense?
And that's an interesting interplay.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's in this very follower-driven influencer marketing, Instagram thing and all of that. It's a very interesting thing because it's almost a game for many people of how many people can I touch at one time. Like
yeah, I'm almost the opposite of that.
And you take it to the nth degree of if I can directly influence one person. So you teach Sunday school class.
I do.
How does that color what you do, or do you just try to widen, take the choke out of the shotgun and just spread that and really look people in the eye? Could you, the class, I don't know how big your class was, but if it got above 12, that just really perturb you, or what?
I averaged between 9 and 15 when I was teaching adult Sunday school, which I just switched over to 5th through 8th graders like 2 weeks ago, and haven't actually even taught my first class with them. I'm still shadowing the guy who did it before me, just because I want to know what he's doing, so that I can, because it's a big switch, going from a room full of adults to a room full of 5th through 8th graders. The maturity level goes up exponentially, right? But I'll tell you the same thing I told them. I wrote those Sunday school lessons for me, right? And this goes back to your why do I do random unsolicited advice to no one in particular. I wrote those Sunday school lessons for me. I'm here to tell you about them, and maybe you're going to glean something from it. And if you do, that's awesome.
So resharing them is really just a reminder to you.
That's why I reshare my random unsolicited advice to no one in particular. And I started off the year actually trying to write them down every time they came up. And it just got too much of it's too labor intensive. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
Does one pop up almost every day in memories?
Oh, probably.
So
over the course of
like you have a book. Is what it sounds like.
Probably.
Are these 90% of them creations of your own mind, or?
It's varying degrees. So some of it is stuff that, and there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
So just because I said it doesn't make it a Joe K original.
Sure.
But some of it is direct quotes from other people. Some of it is like filtered down conversations into this one sentiment. Some of it is stuff that I heard from a friend. Some of it is stuff I might have gotten from a book. It's all this conglomerate of it's random, unsolicited advice, and it's really all to me. Like I was doing this for a year or two before I finally gave away my dirty little secret, which is those are for me.
Sure.
Like I'm not shooting at anybody.
Because everyone's reading into them, like who.
People kept coming up to me
Joe
going,
mad at?
Yeah, people kept coming. Is that random unsolicited advice? Was that me?
Thank you for taking them out
Yeah.
to dinner.
Yeah. Who was that too? I think I know who that was too. So you don't. I mean, you know the person, but you don't know what it's about.
Right.
It's always to me.
Right.
Right? Because frankly, my brain works in weird ways. I remember things like you put me in a trivia game, we're gonna have a good time. You're not, but I'm going to. Like my family won't play trivia games with me, but I have come up with new and creative ways to be an idiot, and I need to be kept in a lane, and sometimes I have to keep myself there. So I do this random unsolicited advice to no one in particular. Really, it's to me. But if I put that out there and it's beneficial to one other person who goes, hey, I really needed to hear that today.
Sure.
I needed to be reminded of whatever that thing is.
Right.
Then great. That's fine.
Right.
That's awesome. It's for me. And I've had where, I've seen that come up today in the past, and I read it and I go, oh man, is that where I was 9 years ago on that thing? Because that's where I needed to be today too. I totally forgot about that. And I just did this to this guy yesterday, and I should have remembered that advice. And now I have to go apologize to that guy or whatever.
Wow.
You know?
It's funny to use one of the most narcissistic tools of all time, Facebook.
Yeah.
For a very, you could say self-centered, but in the best way. Self-centered way is very, when I say narcissistic, I'm meaning put things out there for everybody to see, but to use it as really just a board, just a bulletin board with, hey, remember this.
Oh, yeah.
And you get reminded about it 30 to 65 days later. That's very interesting.
Yeah. And
So you've been doing it for, you said, how long now?
Oh, a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did it start with the advent of Facebook, or were you kind of doing this kind of for yourself before that?
I got on Facebook in 2008.
Okay.
And that was strictly at the urging of my wife and a good friend of mine who's passed away, because they wanted to play Scrabble with me. To which I obliterated my wife all the time. I love you, dear. Obliterated my wife every time, and then Basil would obliterate me every time. And so it was this sort of hierarchy of Scrabble obliteration.
Right.
But I was highly resistant to it. And then I realized that it could be an outlet for my creativity. And it made my wife's life so much easier because she was the sole audience of all of this oddness and weirdness.
Right.
And now other people can have that, and she can just jump on every 2 or 3 days and blow up my notifications by just
like.
Yeah. I know if I see one, there's 12 more coming. And I'm
That's
fine
funny.
with it. I love you. But she's not watching right now because she's at work diligently, slaving away. But she'll probably watch this later. And realistically, it's funny you touched on the narcissism of it. I am to narcissism what an alcoholic is to alcohol, right? Like, I will never say I used to be a narcissist. I am a narcissist. I am. And there was a period of time where I had such a huge ego. Now I'm cheeky about it, but there's always a little bit of truth in every joke.
Sure.
So I have my water bottles that have my logo on it. I have my stool in my Sunday school classroom that has my logo and letterhead and my motto on it. And people say, why do you have your, is that your logo? That's your logo? Why do you have a logo? So, well, don't you have a logo? How do you control your brand? And it's less of a funny joke to you because you actually have a logo and a brand.
Yeah.
But
so is this why we clicked so very quickly? Because I am, well, definitely, I say used to be, but still not the case, like you were saying. And we touched on this in a previous podcast with myself about previous arrogance and ways I've reined that in. But I don't know. That's got to be part of us, clicking so quickly. But go ahead.
It could be. So, what changed my course of direction, right, was I was working at Lowe's at the time, and I had been out on delivery for a while, doing delivery stuff for probably 2 years, I think, at that point. 2 or 3 years, at least. Might have been a little more, I don't know. I lose track. Everything gets fuzzy after a while.
Sure.
But I'd been on delivery for a while. And in the Thursday and Friday of this particular work week, the one day I had, for the umpteenth time, gotten out a crowbar and a hammer and chiseled a stove off of somebody's floor because it was so grease stuck to the floor and nasty. I mean, there were days I'd come home and I'd call my wife on the way home and be like, hey, put some clothes in the garage because I'm ditching these, That was Thursday. Friday, I had to break up a fight that almost became a physical altercation between my partner and an octogenarian over the best way to hook up a water line to a refrigerator. And I said, I'm done. So when I got back, I'm talking to the store manager, and I says, hey, man, I'm ready to come back to the sales floor. I've been in retail since I was 15. I can sell anything you want me to sell. I was the outdoor power equipment specialist before, and all this other stuff and whatever. He said, all right, Joe, let me see what I can find for you. I said, all right, great. So I follow up with him in about a week, and I says, what'd you find? Now, this is the difference between a good manager and a great manager, right?
Sorry, Joe, you get a purple straw.
That's all right. I'm comfortable with my masculinity.
So when you put them in the to-go cup that other places normally put a full entree of, say, curry or soup or something.
Yes. You get a
then
quarter
you
full
know.
shake.
And when this has a thicker diameter than
'Cause
the
there's
water line
chunks.
you just mentioned,
Yeah. There's chunks of Butterfinger in there.
I
I'll bring
approve.
Liz over
I
too for
approve
ya.
whatever this is.
You enjoy it.
And I will need a to-go box
No problem.
of whatever size will take this.
Yeah, no problem. You'll
Fit
probably
this.
have to lay it down to get it to fit. Funky.
That's all right.
But,
That's all right.
I'll
Sounds
be
good.
back.
Thanks. But here's the difference between a good manager and a great manager, right? Now, he was a good manager in many aspects.
Mm-hmm.
He was a great manager in this aspect. He was truthful with me, and he came at me from a place of actually caring about me, and not from a place of, look, I just want to solve my problem and move on with my day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've got this guy whose ego is so out of control, right? And I can either just shoot him down and move on with my day, or I can sit down and explain to him why no other manager in the store wants me back on the sales floor. Which is that, you know, he said this. This is what he said. Everyone really respects your work product. They think you do a great job. You're a fine delivery driver. You deal with customers very well. You sell a lot of stuff when you sold stuff and whatever. Nobody wants to deal with your attitude. And this is the first time anybody explained to me that I couldn't just do whatever I wanted as long as the product was good,
Sure.
right? I couldn't say whatever I wanted. I couldn't treat people however I wanted just to get the job done, right? And it made me pause. And he said, but I have a spot on nights. I need somebody to come in and kind of like shake it up a little bit. So go to night shift for a little while, prove that you can be a member of a team, and then I'll bring you back to the day side somewhere. You know, I'll talk somebody into taking you.
Right.
And, you know, so I said, okay, fine, whatever you need me to do. So I go to nights, got stuck there for 4 years because as good of a manager as he was, he made a mistake. He helped somebody load a generator into a car, didn't check the receipt. He essentially accidentally helped somebody steal a generator. Well, you get fired for that, right? Sorry about your luck. You know, it was a shame. But that stranded me on nights for 4 years because I had a verbal agreement with him, and the new guy that came in knew nothing of that verbal agreement,
Right.
and wasn't going to let me off nights because you couldn't find anybody that wanted to work nights, you know? So right around that same time, it was about the time I went ahead and signed up for the police academy, took a leave of absence from Lowe's, went to the police academy. And if you want to learn about how to be a member of a team, you go into any kind of paramilitary organization, and they're gonna teach you, like right now. You're all doing push-ups because Joe K didn't shave today. You know what I mean? And like, you build
mean
that
you
team
can't
mentality,
do whatever you want in spite of the product being good?
right? So you learn really fast how to be part of a team.
Right.
So when I came back out of the police academy,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Here's chips.
awesome,
Perfect.
thanks. You know, I'm Mr. Go Team. I'm Mr. Whatever we need to do to get the job done, as long as we're respectful to people. You know, all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't an overnight thing.
Sure.
It was a long journey that's still occurring. Because somebody asked me that the other day. They said, how did you finally get? I said, there ain't no final about it. I said, brother, I'm screwing up every day.
Sure.
Like you're talking to a narcissist. You know.
Right.
So like that's just how life is. But like, you know, I don't know if that answered your question because frankly I forgot what your question
You know,
was.
but you just said that, and I have no idea what prompted it. Well, you know, I have no idea. But no, that's very astute. A lot of times we think of people that deal with substance abuse or whatever the case may be as being different. They're dealing with different sin than the rest of us, or, you know, different personality
All
issues.
sin is the same.
Right.
It all comes down to pride.
Only by pride cometh contention.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anytime I've gotten an argument, or anytime I've seen an argument happen, you realize that's the only thing at the end of the day.
Name a sin that doesn't involve pride.
You can't.
Can't.
There's one. Right.
I stole that because I wanted it. I cheated on my wife because I wanted her.
Right.
Or because she wanted me, and who wouldn't? Because look at me.
Right.
Right? It all comes down to pride.
Yeah, but I like just the thought of the ongoing, because a lot of time, and I read a book recently. I don't even know how it appeared or showed up or why I downloaded it. It was like $1 on Kindle or something. Something about the culture of conversionism or something. You know, they were talking about where the altar call came from and things like that, and why Baptists do it and things like that. But there are times we can get to. There is a moment of your birth. There, you know, but there were 9 months of gestation before that.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we can get very focused on the moment. Just, you know, person comes to church for the first time, heard a message they don't quite understand, walked an aisle because someone told them to, prayed a prayer because someone told them to, and people can be guilty of 1, 2, 3, repeat after me. But I do think no matter how far you swing the other way, as far as, you know, I know people, they'll hear a great gospel presentation, they'll come forward and the person feels like they need to explain the gospel to them again for an hour. They came forward for a reason, so maybe give the Holy Spirit some due. But the thought of it being an ongoing process, you know, there are a lot of spiritual abortions. Abortion is a touchy subject all the time, but so many times we'll get, you know, there's no discipleship after and things like that. But for ourselves, discipleship is not just a 12-week course that somebody did, you know, with us maybe.
Yeah, here's 12 weeks in Sunday school.
Right.
Here's your diploma, you're good to go.
It's an ongoing individual process, and I think a lot of times we forget about that. You brought that to light of, you know, this is something that you're going to deal with, work at, chip away at the rest of your life. Which I think a lot of people don't. They think, I came down to an altar and prayed about it once, so we're good. And then somehow they fail the very next week, you know, in that exact arena. So
when they do, because they think I'm saved, and then when they fail the next week, they think, well, I guess I'm not saved, so forget it. I'm not going to go back. I guess it wasn't real. It didn't take.
Right.
It's like, oh man, you're gonna have to work at this every day.
Right.
Like every day.
Yeah, and you know, stressing, you know, baptism and things like that. That's important. Absolutely, first step of obedience. But I think we would be well served to let people very much stress this is a rebirth.
Yeah.
You are an infant.
Yeah.
You have no clue. And I'm not. You know,
there's a thing happening there. I don't know if that matters.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, we probably. What's that?
One of the plugs came out.
Did it? It's all right. This one's about to die here?
I think so, yeah.
Perfect. Not a problem. If we are still alive right now, I don't know if we are.